Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of College of the Dead, publisher of Chromium Man, and 1,000 independent comic books. Today we're talking about Ripaverse. Ripaverse is doing something really unique, a number of things that are really unique. It is a hugely successful independent comic launched through its own crowdfunding site, and in my humble opinion, I think Ripaverse is the beginning of the end for woke comic books forever. A lot of it started with ComicsGate. Ripaverse puts more fuel on the fire, working together. Who knows what's possible? But obviously, a lot is possible. We're going to get into an article. I'm going to talk to you a little bit also about my own personal experience publishing comics and ups and downs and things. And we'll get into it. And an article as well. Before we do, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you can. It's a huge help to me. Click the bell for notifications and like the video if you like the video. It's a big help. All right, let's get into this project. First, this is the first major project I've seen, and to be honest, it's the first project I've seen at all to launch a crowdfunding campaign on its own crowdfunding site. Eric July made the decision that he wanted to control everything, obviously, and he wanted to have everything under his own platform. This is not for everybody, but Eric July prepared himself. He studied this. He studied independent comics. I was with him just once on ComicsGate Live on Ethan Van Sciver's great channel. And he's got a presence. He's got a huge following. And he did his homework and he noticed, like, hey, wait a minute. Obviously, I'm the one sending all of these backers from my audience to a platform. Why not send it to my own platform? There are definitely reasons not to do it, especially because it's just another expense. It's another level of customer service, processing payments, and things like that, responding to customer service inquiries. But fantastic that he's able to do it and that he's had this huge success. His goal was only $100,000, which might have been break even. I would assume it was break even for him. 3.3 million so far with 48 days to go. Plus, he can always sell more copies of it in the future. I would be shocked if this campaign didn't do $5 million. And it's absolutely well deserved. Keep in mind as well, I like to point out when I see a big success that, we should always take from it that anything is possible. It doesn't mean that you can be Eric July or Ethan Van Sciver. Doesn't matter. You can be you. You can use your skills. You can use your social media platform. You can work hard like these guys do. And you also can produce something of quality. And you multiply social media platform by your passion, multiply it again by how hard you work on top, like over the top, multiply it again by the quality of the book. And I think Eric July is doing something else really interesting here because he's the first guy I've seen do this with a major crowdfunding campaign. I kind of did it as well. Smaller campaigns, College of the Dead, it's a $35,000 campaign. But he's got the book done. He's planning on shipping it, he said, in August. So he launched July. He plans on starting to ship the month of August. Now, he may be delayed a week or two. It's just natural if that happens, whatever. But it gives people additional confidence if it's a possibility to do this. And for a creator, Eric July is a writer. He had a great artist do this interior of this book, and I'll show you a little bit of the art actually right now. Just page right down. You see some of the covers, and I know there's some. I thought there were some interior pages here. Here's interiors. Enjoy some interiors from the book. I will. All right, just gonna take a second to load. Oh, there they are. Yeah, nice. Good action. Solid professional work. He has a professional artist who did this, right? So, by having the book done though, it does take a lot of the pressure off of him. It took a lot of the pressure off me. Having put together a lot of projects, some of them extremely low budget, some of them, for me, high budget, $20,000, $30,000 per project, a 24-page comic. when you have one piece missing from a comic, it's not done. And when you're making a puzzle, if you're missing a piece, the piece is not done. The thing is not done. And you're working with human beings here. So things can happen. So especially a major project like this, and as far as I caught, Eric's been promoting this for 2 years. Promoting it, doing it, getting it done, he's not going to want to take his massive social media following and his reputation and risk for a second that life could get in the way of him shipping this book, I'm sure. So, as he said, items right here, items will ship August 2022. Yes, there's international shipping. So he's made preparations to get this thing out the door. So it doesn't mean everybody should do it. It's interesting that he did. I know also Brian Pulido with his Coffin Comics, Lady Death Comics, also likes to suggest to people, hey, and he's had a lot of success as well, $600,000, $700,000 campaigns, and a separate website business with his character, and a character that's been well known in comics for a while. But Brian says, try to have as much done in advance as possible, really meaning like get it all done in advance. Because, again, people are people. Someone could get ill or, God forbid, or have a family member with a problem or something else comes up, and then you can't keep your promises. You can't maintain your schedule, and then your whole business can get thrown off. So very impressed with that. Very impressed with the level of success of this. But, surprised, but not shocked. Not shocked. It's a very well done, a very well presented project, and it looks like it's going to be a blast. I absolutely recommend everybody, if you're not going to back at a higher level, at least back at the minimum level. You don't want to miss buying the book and at least kind of being a part of. Right now, it's history, man. It's history. So good for him. And you also want to look for ComicsGate projects. There are many professional creators who left mainstream work or do less mainstream work now who are part of ComicsGate. If you go on Twitter and you put hashtag ComicsGate, I'll put a link to it in the description as well. You'll see tons of projects, tons of creators. And when I decided, I was actually, I'll give Ethan a like. When I was first getting back into publishing, it took a couple of years to start getting my content done. And then when I finally had my comics done, there really wasn't a way to publish them as far as I understood. I did a little bit of crowdfunding on Kickstarter. But then I just found out what Ethan Van Sciver was doing with ComicsGate and all the rest of the guys. When I got involved in ComicsGate, it was amazing. Everybody was so welcoming. Everyone was so easy to deal with. And I'm not talking about because they knew I had published before. People didn't know anything about me. And even at the smallest creator levels, I always say Simon Sempoitier. I mean, there are a lot of people. Red Gaze, another guy. A lot of people that were really supportive. So I would check this out. I really would check this out. Go hashtag ComicsGate, and you'll see. There's a whole community of people that are really passionate about helping other people who are either professionals or amateurs that want to publish their own stuff. But the truth of it is, the better the work, the better your own social media platform. You can't expect someone else to sell your stuff for you. Eric July, look him up on YouTube. He's got 500,000 subs on YouTube. He's promoting and pushing and selling his work. You don't need 500,000 subs on YouTube. I have more than 1,000. It's not that many. You can make friends who will help you, but you do have to do the work on your own. And you ought to be passionate about comics and about what you're doing to have a good success. If you can't just say, hey, I kind of want to do this and do it as a side project thing. You have to quit your job, but you have to really care about it and you have to really push. You'll see. Go hashtag ComicsGate. Follow some people on Twitter. A lot of them will follow you back. And just pay attention on Twitter. You'll get the vibe. And there's a lot of great YouTube channels that also talk about ComicsGate comics. I want to talk about this article. I think the way that this is covered is really well. It's a little bit dated because it came from July 25th. But it's got a lot of background information, and it sums it up nicely. This is coming from a Daily Signal, fighting to reclaim comic books from the woke left. New comic lands first punch. Well, I'm going to say ComicsGate landed a big first punch. And this is a fantastic second uppercut, or however you want to do the boxing metaphor. As author states, as consumers of pop culture are increasingly aware, the world of comic books and superheroes has gone woke. That is true, and it's really, really disturbing. It was never like this. People will say, oh, well, the X-Men, we used to... No. It's nothing like the way it was in the 1990s or the 1980s or even the early 2000s. Some people got a hold and control from a top-down way of publishing at Marvel and DC and pushed this out. Guaranteed. As consumers of pop culture increasingly... Okay, so you see, they've gone woke comics. Superman no longer fights for the American way, which is ridiculous. And Captain America's archnemesis, Red Skull, is now a Jordan Peterson analog. Does that make sense? That's not fair. For the fans who just want a good story free from the political moralizing the left foists on us daily, alternative options are far and few between. But hashtag ComicsGate. You can get involved in creating your own, and you can find a lot of projects you can support. And by the way, supporting projects doesn't always mean just buy everything. Retweet the ones that you like. Retweet the creators that you like. It helps a lot, believe it or not. If you have tons of money, spend all of it on comics from ComicsGate. And Isom. Enter Isom, a new comic book series created by Eric July as an antidote to what he sees as a push by popular media to beat people over the head with stuff like social justice. It is beating people over the head with social justice. The social justice people will say, oh, we just want people to be included with people that look like this or look like that. It's really about, they're not trying to persuade you about anything. They're trying to erase history so they can then write a new history. But they don't want you to have a role model. They don't want you to feel powerful when you're reading a superhero comic, to really enjoy it, to share it with your child. They don't want people getting passionate about being masculine even anymore. They want people to be nothings. Don't let them do it. The series focuses on a man named Avery Silman, a Texas rancher who briefly worked as a superhero codenamed Isom. Interesting. Notably, not only is July the creator of the Isom series, but he also founded a publishing company that produces it, RIPPAVERSE Comics. In an interview with Fox News, July said, quote, what I wanted to do was be part of the solution instead of griping about the problem. So I had the idea, it made sense financially, and it was the perfect time to do it. Maddeningly to the radical left, July and his characters are black. But based on the vicious response to Isom by radical leftists, he's not the type of black man they can tolerate. And that also happens a lot. You look a certain way, you're supposed to think a certain way. And if you don't think that way, something's wrong with you and you're an enemy. It's communism, man. It's not good. The popular comic book forum on social media site Reddit banned users from discussing Isom, citing the forum's rules against supporting comics from hate groups. Okay. Who does he hate? Ridiculous. Reportedly, commenters also use racial slurs in describing their distaste for July's work. Yeah, there can be some hateful people out there. That type of racial gatekeeping, in addition to the ballooning anti-American sentiment at places like comic giants Marvel and DC, is clearly off-putting to many of those of the same ethnic groups the radical left tries to court. In that same interview, Isom's artist, former DC Comics artist Gabe Abdul Eltab, said he specifically left the company in response to his decision to butcher the Man of Steel mantra. Quote, I made it to DC Comics and made it to Superman, says Eltab. My little boy dream came true, but they made him woke, so he left the company. Yeah, look, when you go into making comics, I did it. A lot of comics professionals did it. Ethan talks about this sometimes, and Graham Nolan did it. A lot of people did it. Dan Fraga, and you go into it because you love the profession, you love the medium. You felt a special connection to the heroes and the stories, and sometimes even the creators that were making the comics. And then to see them abused and destroyed like this with no respect for the brand or the history, it reminds me of how I felt when we got nailed with Hurricane Sandy back in the day. It was 10 years ago now, and like all our stuff was destroyed. And it was like, even stuff I didn't care about was destroyed. And I was like, wait a minute, that's my stuff. Don't destroy it. It's a severe personal attack, and the people who are doing it absolutely know what they're doing. So we really can't let them do it. July and LTAB are putting into practice what conservatives talk about but are often too scared to do. They're taking the fight to the left in their own arena and creating a competing product to fight against the leftists dominating the industry. And it's been a huge success. As we just went over the numbers. Now, the author here is not aware of ComicsGate, unfortunately, because ComicsGate has already done some very, very significant business. I think it did $5 million retail, which is all the money raised for creators last year on its own. Creators are making really good money. They're making money that they wouldn't otherwise make working for the big companies, while they get to do their own characters and own all the rights to their characters. That's really, really significant. So again, if you're interested in comic books, hashtag ComicsGate, do a search on Twitter. I'll put the link in the description. Check out the Isom campaign. I mean, look, when things like this happen, when a success this big happens, it gets a lot of people's attention. And so other people are going to come in to comics. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people are going to see this project. They're going to say, well, mine looks kind of cool too, and I have this professional artist. We're going to work on it together. It does not mean that anyone else is going to do 3.3 million. You know, if this was not backed and supported by Eric July's promotional platform, by his YouTube, his social media, and him spending 2 years promoting it, would it have done $3 million? It can't. It couldn't. People wouldn't even know about it. But as of today, August 6, 2022, there are 39,276 individual purchasers for this project. Again, you can find out a lot about it. I will see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.